What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another Three Geeks interview. Justin and I are joined by Anthony Pyatt. Anthony, how you doing, man? It's been a while since Decade Days, a few weeks.
I feel great. I'm having a great time. It's let's see. In my time, it's 7 p.m. I have my Nespresso. I feel set to jet.
I was about to say that's a dope hip hop cup, by the way.
Thank you. I got it at a museum in Atlanta while I was filming Descendants, and they had a whole special exhibit on the history of hip hop. No, not on the history of hip hop. It was the hip hop's impact on what's the word I'm looking for? Help me find the word. The science of building buildings and the science and art.
Architecture.
Architecture. It was like hip hop's influence on architecture. It was really cool. And they had this tiny little hip hop mug, and I was like, "You're coming home with me."
So my first question is the same thing I ask everybody else: is what made you want to be an actor?
What made me want to be an actor? You know, it's evolved over the years. Um, you know, I'll warn you, I'm pretty chatty. I don't know how long your podcast is supposed to be. I'll try to give you shorter answers.
We can Joe Rogan it, or we can do whatever you want.
Right on. If we're gonna do a little 10-cent therapy session, I think initially my interest in it was it was a safe place to express my emotions and explore them and figure them out. It was also a controlled environment where I could be heard. People everybody was showing up to sit down and listen. I think it took some years of figuring that out, but after I worked that out and got past it, there was the next evolution of the same question of being like, okay, if you don't need that anymore, if you've healed that, what are you doing this for? And I think, as cheesy or cliched of an answer as it is, I think I have an inherent love for it. Um, I I love like problem solving and puzzles and stuff, and there is a problem solving to filmmaking and putting on shows. You have a vision and an idea and you have raw materials, but this exact production with this exact people, this exact time's never been done before, and we kind of have to start from scratch and figure out how to make it. Um, I like what it serves, like the art of it, the escapism of it. Sometimes it starts conversations, sometimes it rattles cages. Um, or in the case of Descendants, it helps people find their identity. It brings people a lot of joy. Yeah, I mean, if you've ever heard any actor out there be like, if you love anything else, do anything else. Like, this is a tough thing to do. I have plenty of times circled around and be like, how do you feel about this thing, bud? But I really do love it. It lights me up when I do it, and um, I feel the most myself and a sense of belonging when I do it. And I usually find kindred spirits that I can communicate with and connect with, like you guys, like meeting you guys.
Yeah.
These kinds of connections happen through this work in a unique and magical way that I haven't fully experienced doing anything else. I haven't found anything else that gives me as much fulfillment.
When I was doing my research on you and I was watching your Legends of Lake Howell interview, did you? Is that where you started? Was that kind of the forum that you used to break into acting?
That was where it really started to get a little serious. Yeah, I'd say um, it evolved through different means over time. Like I was originally going to be military bound when I was like about middle school age. I was going to go to the Navy, and I remember distinctly sitting down to watch Billy Elliot the film with my mom. And the whole crux of that film is, he's in this world where it's like, you're a guy and you're gonna box, and he's like, I love to dance, and I was like, I like to dance too. And I was extremely fortunate to have um, morally and emotionally supportive parents that were like, if this is what you love, you should try it. Um, and that led to auditioning for shows in middle school, and it led to chorus, and it led to local theater and that kind of thing, and it sort of blossomed.
Sure. Are you? Is your family fairly creative? Like you mentioned, your parents and being very supportive. Usually, it lends itself to maybe being more creative or being more. You know what I mean? Like I. I don't know. Does that make sense?
You know, yes and no. It does run in our genes, and I'll actually show you. I'm really proud of this. So my sister is a welder. She's super awesome. And she made me one of the first things she made when she got into welding is this
Oh, that's
die
fun.
made
Yeah.
out of metal. She's a fantastic welder. She's about to, I think, become an instructor at the same school she learned at. But yeah, even though she's been more of like a industrial type of person, she still has a flair for the arts. She still has a flair for like painting and sewing and making things for Christmas. And um, both of my parents have been in their own rights passionate storytellers. Um, my mom has always had a beautiful singing voice. Performing in front of people is not really her bag, but it's there. Um, I don't know if this counts for anything, but I'm fairly certain I'm related to Marilyn Monroe on my mom's side. I
That's for a
say
lot.
fairly,
That's some strong blood, man.
I say fairly certain because I have yet to do the whole like 23andMe thing or whatever. But allegedly on my mom's side, my grandparents, I think, are Edward and Jean Baker from Lynn County, Missouri, related to Norma Jean Baker of Lynn County, Missouri. Um, and there are facial features that are, run in. My sister looks like her. My aunt looks like her. The middle name Jean runs in the family. My sister's middle name is Jean. Um, uh, and my dad actually passed away last summer while I was on set. One of my most recent projects that has yet to come out. But he was also a super passionate storyteller and was incredibly moved through music. And yeah, it's all there, I'd say. And I'm the only person that I think has like turned it into a full-blown craft and career,
Sure,
but it definitely
sure.
runs in the blood.
Well, I'm
I
sorry about
appreciate you
that.
asking that. Yeah,
Yeah,
me too.
of course. Yeah.
So, how'd you
Um,
get the role in When I'm With You? What was that process like? Because that was one of the first things that you did on screen.
You guys really did your research. I appreciate this. When I'm with you, I thank you for asking that question because it's a perfect tie-in to where I come from. Um, so I was born and raised in Orlando, Florida, and even now I live not too far around the corner from Dr. Phillips High School, which is where DJ Khaled went to high school, Joey Fatone, and my extremely talented actor, director, producer friend, Adrienne Lovett Filio. She's Acevedo. She's in a slew of things. She's an awesome actress. You should look her up. She's in Better Call Saul and The Penguin and a bunch of stuff. We met when there were like multiple productions going on of Spring Awakening the musical in Orlando at the same time, and I was playing Melchior in one production and she was directing another production. We supported each other's show and hit it off. And then we moved to New York around the same time, and that was I think, one of her first feature indie films that she was putting her best foot forward with. And she ended up calling me in for the part of her younger brother, and we glued, and that was a magical experience. That was my first time uh, really getting a taste of being on a feature length film set. The first time I ever actually stepped on set, um, when I was in like ninth grade, they were filming one of the Beethoven movies here in Orlando, the dog films, right
yeah.
here at Universal Studios Orlando, and I got to be like an extra, and that was cool to be on set. But When I'm With You was like really getting to sink my teeth into acting and what it looks like for the camera, and it was like the first time I felt that real sense of belonging, where I was like, "Oh yeah, this is what I'm supposed to do."
That's incredible. It,
I'm proud of that film. It's won awards. It did well internationally at film festivals. I think it's on Amazon Prime right now.
yeah, that's awesome. I do want to ask you, and this is going back to when we had a conversation at dinner. You mentioned you kind of bounced around from New York and LA all the way to come back home to Orlando and finally find like a foothold in the industry. Like, what was that like? If you don't mind me pulling that thread this a little bit, was that hard? Did you have a point where like, man, maybe I should just go into welding? What should I do?
Yeah, it is hard. I mean, I think anybody could tell you that, whether it's acting or something else. Those are tough cities to live in. I feel like, if I'm being more accurate, uh, those cities are reflectors to me. Like, they show you a lot about you, and some people fit it like a glove, and they realize this is the lifestyle I'm meant to be, and this is, you know, this is what I want out of where I live. And some people get chewed up and spit out and they hate it and they never go back. I had a mix, I would say. I've lived in New York twice in my lifetime. I mean, I've moved there twice in my lifetime. I've lived there cumulatively, I think maybe 4 years. And Los Angeles, it wasn't very long. The second time I moved to New York was 5 weeks before the pandemic hit. And my move to LA with my best friend was like December 2020. And I was so burnt out from what life looked like at that time that after just a handful of months, I was like, I miss my friends. I miss familiar roads. I miss like knowing where the restaurants are. And so yeah, it was tough. I think the closest I ever came to considering something else was probably 2020. There was a moment where like I've always been passionate about social work and therapy work, and it seems to me like there was a great need for it, and I believe there still is.
100%.
But at the same time, I had to get pretty real about the fact that one, it takes a special toolkit to do that kind of work effectively, and you can with proper training. But I think I got real with myself where I was like, I don't know that I would be as effective in that work as I would like to be, and I think what I would like to contribute in my life is much more effective in what I do best and what fulfills me as well, doing this acting thing. But otherwise, yeah, I was just I picked back up Viola Davis's book the other day, Finding Me, and she has this part of the story where like one of her first acting teachers over and over again is like, "You sure you want to do this? You sure you want to do this?" And her hand just like stays up, and that really resonated with me because it is a resilience game. I'll tell just about anyone that. I was teaching a workshop the other day, like an acting workshop, and when they asked me, what's your advice, and I'm like, have something else, and otherwise, there's a lot of resilience to this. Like, you're going to get a lot of rejection, you're going to do it for a while, and not see much returns. It's always rewarding, it's just a matter of when. So that's my long form of saying, like, yeah, I think my brain has always been open to the door of being like, there's but I think my relationship to my work is that door stays open so that there's open communication between what I'm showing and what I'm portraying and what I'm living, and they kind of blend.
Nice.
Yeah.
So 2024 was your year, like absolutely your year. You were on hit show, Will Trent. What was that like?
That is to date one of my favorite jobs I've ever had. Yeah. I think I've said this on another interview before, but I'll sing those people's praises till the cows come home. 3 major things. Because of the speed at which television has to move, it was the first time I had ever stepped on a TV show like that, and watched how efficient and effective everyone has to be at their work, and they were. It was just really refreshing to be in an environment where like everybody who is in their respective positions earned these positions, and for good reason. Because of the nature of new people constantly stepping on and stepping off, there was this culture across the board of respect and kindness and welcoming. And that was really refreshing from the cast and crew. And that is closer to the type of acting I love to do, and that I feel, I don't know, without sounding too woo-woo, in my most flow state. Like, there's genuine connection between the characters. There's a story going on. There's a purpose behind the story they're telling. It was extremely rewarding. It was also extremely rewarding working with Keith Powell was the director. He's probably best known for being one of the series regulars on 30 Rock, and so I've had directors in theater who were also actors. But it was really refreshing to do TV film with a director who's also an actor. I got a lot out of that. So that was really cool.
And I'm pulling that through at least a little bit more. Like, what benefits came from that, you think? Like, what was it, just how he kind of coached you in terms of a scene, or like say, hey, I'm going to frame this in a way that helped you kind of walk through a scene? I don't know.
Well, I really appreciated that he came and sought me out for the type of work I would want to do on for that particular episode, that particular character I was working on. That required a little bit of heavy lifting on my part, and I went in with the understanding and sort of expectation that that's my job to figure that out. What's the story I'm telling? What are the choices I think I'm going to make? Because it's not like we have a theater amount of time to try a bunch of things. And right after we rehearsed it for the crew's sake, he came and sought me out and was like, "I'm yours for as much time as I'm allowed to give you until somebody pulls me in a different direction. Talk to me. What are you thinking? Where are you at with this career?" And we had like a really refreshing conversation around the story being told and what's going on with the guy. And it was also really fun to watch a guest director at work, because I'll give you his words. It's like, it's being a guest director on a show that's already running into its second season, let alone it's the equivalent of, he said, being invited to someone else's house to make Thanksgiving dinner for their family with their kitchen and their supplies. And like, you have your little moments of, you decide where you can and will add your flavor to it, but you kind of have to find your flow in there. And that was refreshing. I met people that I'm grateful to be in contact with this day, and I feel like I get that experience, some form of that experience, every time I book a job. It's kind of fun. I'm sure there's a lot of actors that'll agree. Like, every little job you get, you learn a new skill and you make a new friend, and you get a piece of advice, or you learn something about yourself, and you're just kind of collecting things. Your resume becomes your like Batman tool belt.
Yeah. I've always wondered this, and this is a total tangent, not related to your career at all. But I've always wondered, like, if an actor has a very robust career, how many skills do they have of just generic things they had to learn on set? Like, hey, I got my pilot's license for this thing. Hey, I got my scuba certification for this movie back in 1980. You know what I mean? Like, just a random, like, eclectic combination of things. And I was like, man, that's kind of a cool life to live.
I feel like I saw a couple of interviews like that. My algorithm, has a hefty amount of like actors I appreciate and directors I appreciate and their interviews and stuff. And I think I've seen a number of interviews where they talk about like, oh, I can still do that, or oh, that's been a part of me my whole life, or people that are like, yeah, I hyperfixated on that for the project and I got really good at it, and now I've brain dumped it and I couldn't do it for you now. Like, some random skills I have acquired from different shows that I don't know whether or not I could do nowadays. I think I could to some degree, but like, I did an immersive production of A Clockwork Orange where I had to get adept at butterfly knife tricks. I did a stage play where it was a family of card sharks, and I was the narrator, and I had to get really good at shuffling freehand and poker chip tricks. And there was an off Broadway show I did where I played like an illustrator of a comic book, and I became like, I became the superhero that I inked, and so I had to learn a ton about that line of work and the history of comic books and stuff like that. So those are the kind of things you like take with you, and things start falling out of your hands the more laundry you're trying to carry from the machine to your bed. But yeah, some of them stick and stay, some of them don't. It's funny you mentioned the pilot thing, because I've always wanted to get my pilot's license. And one thing I admired a lot about Peter Lindell, who was in Descendants with me, he at the time of filming, he was 19 years old and he already had his commercial pilot's license.
That's a lot of hours. Holy cow.
That is a lot of hours. Yeah. And it was just like a reminder and a revitalization of like, yeah, that is something a person can do, and I would love to do that. And because I also have like pilots in my bloodline on my dad's side and my mom's side. And when you and I met, Justin, at Decade Days, one of the things I got lucky enough to do was their flight simulator, which we high-fived. You going out and you going in. And that's the first time I've ever done a flight simulator that in depth, where I was literally being taught how to use the instrumentation, and it lit the fire again. So whether or not that's attached to a role or not, it's probably something I'm going to be learning here soon.
I sure hope so. It'll be a lot of fun.
I gotta say though, back to Decade Days real quick. That green room was like the coolest place I've ever seen in my life. It was like going into a secret like government facility. It was awesome.
It was
8 miles away, but it was super dope. It was very, very cool.
It did feel like a super secret experience. It wasn't like a blank hallway with paper arrows and being like, your green room this way. It's like, all right, you're going to go to the glow in the dark place. You're going to hang a left. You don't even see that the hallway's there until you're right up on it. And then, whoa, it's a bright room full of snacks and famous people. Yeah, that was wild. That was wild. That'll be a core memory for sure.
Also, you buried the lead of our friendship, Anthony, by saying, butterfly knife tricks, and I desperately want to see that.
Just the butter, if I had it with me, I still have the prop somewhere in a box somewhere.
It's okay.
But yeah, note to anyone watching this, if there's any kids that's like, Anthony's cool from the Disney movie. If that's ever something you take an interest in, please be safe and please practice with something that is not a real blade. Please. I'm not even condoning that you need to go do that, but if it's something you hyperfixate on, you have to be safe. That can be very dangerous.
Yeah.
Okay.
8-finger Tommy over here. Yeah, I get it. That makes sense. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So how did you get Descendants? I mean, that's huge, very huge franchise going into it too.
That was pretty cool, man. I mean, I've told a couple of people this, that before you, I'll just zoom out a bit, and it makes it cheesier, but it's still true. Before you accomplish your dreams, you have this like inflated idea of what it means and what it takes to get them. And when it happens in the most surprising, unexpected of ways. And for me, that looked like, like I said, you live in New York and you live in LA and you think, I got to go to the big city to have the big opportunities. I was living right here in my hometown when I happened to be the right guy at the right time in the right place, and auditioned for it like anything else. I got lucky enough that it was an audition breakdown that they cast out to the local agencies, and there was a singing portion and a dancing portion, and there was a callback, and there was about a month-long waiting and biting nails, and then I got it. And it was, life's been fascinating and a bit of a ride ever since.
I believe it.
I bet.
So what?
A hit TV show and a hit movie like in the same year. That's exciting. Sorry, Justin.
No, it's okay. What was the costume like with the blue hair and everything? Was that your hair? Or did you or did you know what I'm saying?
That was a wig.
Yeah, I was like, yeah.
It was a wig, and they one of the very first thing that happened after I officially accepted the offer was they sent a local artist to my house, and they wrapped my head in cellophane and tape, and they traced my hairline and popped it off and mailed it away, and somebody created a wig that looks like my hairline.
Oh, yeah.
That was really cool. There were a lot of days we filmed. Now, I'm not complaining. I had a great time, but there were a lot of days I filmed that I had a headache because, that glue can be pretty intense to stay on good enough all day. And the first day we ever did it, I was like this, and then they're like, all right, be an angry person. And I'm like, I'm trying to frown, but it's like glued to that. So every day we would film, I would sit there in the chair like this so that I was able to express. But then, there's a life lesson in this. I frowned for an hour straight on a lot of different days, and it was hard to get the headache to go away because you're flexing those parts of your head for so long. It was cool. The thing I've told some people is that TV film, sometimes things are made to look a certain way, right, for the camera, but it doesn't mean it feels awesome. So there were days I felt amazing and so cool and powerful in the costume, and there were days that thing was pretty uncomfortable given the 8th, 10th, 12th, 14th hour of the day. But then just a handful of weeks ago, I was up in New York filming a new TV show, and man, they gave me the nicest costumes. They I can't give too much away, but my character is someone wealthy, and so they were giving me really nice, soft, warm things, and I was like, man, I could sit in this all day long. I'm good.
Do you get to keep it right in your contract? Can I keep this for
Yeah, I'm gonna have to start writing that into my contract.
I'm here to help. So Descendants, you obviously singing it, and what's it like to have? I was looking at your Spotify. You have like 300,000 monthly listeners. Like, isn't that pretty dope? Like, you have like 2 songs in your name. It's like, all right, everyone's listening to my thing. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's a bit like riding Disney's coattails, but I mean,
whatever.
they've got enough love to spread around, and there's so many actors out there with talent, that have a passion about this thing that would love a shot at something, and the luck is just never lost on me that getting to be a part of such a massively important franchise. That you saying those words to me still does not like fully compute in my brain. I'm like, yeah, sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
I was like,
as many.
Yeah. I was researching your link. I was like, oh, he's obviously singing. Does everything on Spotify? And I was like, 2 songs. Okay. 300,000 monthly listeners. I'm like, dope. Dope.
Yeah, so I guess what does this mean? Do I have to go to the Grammys? Do I have to start recording new music?
That's what I'm saying. You and Kendrick.
My girlfriend and I were talking with Riley Smith at Decade Days, and we're talking we would really love to record some music together. So maybe we'll add to those numbers.
I hope so.
That would be awesome.
That was me a segue into do you enjoy singing, or do you just do it in regards to just like, hey, if a role requires me to do it, I can do it?
Yeah. I love to sing. As a matter of fact, despite the success of the things I'm known for now, I still consider myself a working actor like so many others, and singing is a good portion of my bread and butter, my income, and for good reason, because I love to do it. I used to I'll never forget, I was working like a coffee shop in New York City, and I would be like, I'm constantly the kind of person that I'm singing while I work, or whistling or humming, and I guess one day I was like, man, this is my jam. And one of my coworkers was like, man, every song is your jam. So yeah, for a long time when I had jobs that didn't involve singing, I was still singing. And then one day I was like, I guess I could probably make a little money doing this. And I went to school in New York for musical theater. So that'll always be a part of me. I do, if we're gonna do the old route of triple threat, like for me, it would be acting, singing, dancing. Like a lot of my aspirations are more actor forward, but singing is always on the table. Someone's like, hey, you want to sing? Like something very important to me, I think is probably perfect to bring up for the Three Geeks podcast. I grew up, some of my fondest memories growing up with my dad involved watching Star Trek. And so I'm a bit of a Trekkie. I haven't like cosplayed or gone to the cons or anything, but I do love Star Trek. A lot of valuable learning lessons growing up were conveyed to me through episodes of, them exploring morals and ethics across cultures and stuff like that. And I loved, it didn't really dawn on me until I grew up and started getting into this as a career, how much those arts were infused in Star Trek, where like they would capitalize on, not capitalize, but they would prioritize Shakespearean actors to lead these things, and whenever any of them could sing, they would build that into an episode. Specifically, fun shout out, I went to the same theater school as Robert Picardo, who plays the Doctor in Star Trek Voyager. And he has this amazing episode where they bring this new alien life form on board, and he's like singing to himself, and they've never heard music before, and they consider him like a god because he has this magical ability. And then he rolls with it for a bit, like just like singing to them and holding these concerts. And that was a cool concept to me growing up, seeing them invite music and singing into that realm that would normally just be acting.
Yeah. I still remember we had it was Indiana Comic Con. We had a panel there, and William Shatner was right next door. I was like, who's gonna come and see us? Like, Shatner's like to our right. Like, who's gonna come hang out with? We didn't get married. It was fine.
I think maybe the worst photo I've ever taken in my life was I did once upon a time pay for one of those special personal photo op moments with William Shatner at a convention. I think it was at the New York Comic Con. and somehow his schedule got mixed up, and he got brought away to lunch. And they were like, no, there's still people in line, and we were the people. And he was like, and like, I'm sure he was just having a long day. So like, he was very cordial. He came back, he took the photo with us, and it was just the most awkward thing ever. But I mean, I feel like a lot of us relate to, sometimes we have those special moments and the photo turns out awkward, but we're still grateful to have it anyway.
Yeah.
Which full circle was, why Decade Days was so wild. Was fun, being on the other side of that experience.
How was it? It was your first con. Like, I mean, we don't have to talk about it too much, but like, how did you have a great time? I mean, you were able to have some time to reflect. How was it? Yeah.
Yeah, it was fantastic. I mean, not unlike the acting jobs that I mentioned a minute ago. I mean, I learned new skills. I've made new friends that are probably going to be friends for a lifetime now, you guys included. Yeah, it was invaluable. I mean, it was still crazy to me. It's still crazy to me that I was in a panel on the same couch as Raviv Ullman from Phil of the Future and Sam Horgan from Brink and JP Manu from Phil of the Future and Brandon Baker from Johnny Tsunami. Like, they're like, and you, and I'm like, what? You're like, sure, yeah, we're all people. We all put our shoes on one sock at a time. Yeah, it was extremely cool. I'm looking forward to doing more stuff like that, just for the experience of it. And all the fans I met were incredibly kind and thrilled. Pursuing what I pursue, I've always gotten a kick out of making the human connection. Like somebody said to me once, like, nowadays, actors and singers, famous people like that are kind of like our version of gods, of like Roman and Greek gods kind of thing. And, the more of them you meet and speak to and have a real human interaction with, the more the veil comes down a little bit and you're like, oh, it's a person. You just have a really cool job I've heard of. And, now I'm on the other side of that. Like the first time I was ever recognized in public, somebody was like, "Oh my gosh, you're the guy that's Hades," and I was like, "No, like no, I'm not famous. I just I like it's cool. I live nearby. Like it's He was like, "Can we get a photo?" I was like, "Yeah, of course we get a photo. Like awesome. I'm glad you meeting me is making your day. That's really humbling." And he left, and my friend was like, "You understand? To him, you are famous." And I was like, it's like that Zach Galifianakis gif of like doing the math in your head. You're like, no, wait, no. Yeah. In terms of where I'm at on my scale of anonymity, like I'm not like an A-lister, but it's still fascinating to taste a little bit of it. And, for any one of us who have lived these normal lives, consuming these shows and these movies and these songs that we love, to just get to like peek behind like what it's like on the other side of that, it's been a ride. It's been really cool, and I'm fascinated to see where it goes next.
Well, I've got 4 Destiny's Child. I just realized that pun. Anyway, they submitted 4 questions. Nala wants to know if, I don't even know if you can answer this, are there any new characters coming in the next Descendants film?
That I don't know, but I'll give you the short answer is that like everything I do know is everything you can find out online. And there are currently links out there that give you like a vague log line as to what the next film will entail and where it's going to be filming and when and who the director is. Nice.
And then 3 more. Any other movies coming out soon? Do you have anything else coming out soon?
Me? Mm-hmm. I have a few things on the horizon I'm excited about. I have 2 television series that will likely be seeing the light of day this year. One, I think, if my math is correct, in a couple months or less. Another one, I have no idea. And then I have a couple of film projects, some passion projects that I'm pretty excited about. I've been asked to step on board for that are in pre-production right now that I'm pretty excited about. I don't know. They haven't said not to talk about it, but they haven't. I haven't gotten permission for them to
Yeah, let's not
broadcast
get
it.
you in
So
trouble.
yeah,
So
I'll check with them, find out.
that was from Oakley, and Nala also wants to know is, do you have any of the outfits or anything from set that you might have kept?
Did I keep anything?
Don't incriminate yourself.
Well, I think for continuity's sake and for whatever happens in the future, I think they have to hold on to a lot of those things. They give you when you film, you get those director's chairs that'll have like your character name on it, and it'll have like the title of the film on the back. And when you wrap the film, they give you that. So I have a lot of souvenirs from that time. Nothing in the form of a costume piece, though.
I listened to the Boy Meets World podcast, and they were talking about how Disney has like a vault of all the clothes that they wore during the show, and it's all cataloged for in case it's ever needed to be brought out again. But and then Oakley has one final question, and what's your favorite snack, fruit, or candy?
Ooh.
Here's the
Well,
foodie.
I'm not. I was gonna say I'm a big foodie, and I'm not very good with favorites questions, so I'm gonna have to give you like top threes or top five. You said snack, food, or candy. I have been working for years on breaking my sweet tooth. It is a horrible habit. Oh, fruit. I run the whole gamut. I will go through phases, so I don't think I have a favorite fruit. I eat all of them. Fruits are fantastic. Um, Candies, I also run the gamut on. I think I'm in a chocolate phase right now, like chocolate crunchy stuff. And I think it's honestly, it's probably because Valentine's Day is coming up, and there's a lot of chocolate around everywhere I go. And I think at least three times a day I was out and about with my girlfriend, and I was like, "Ooh, chale, I want that chale." And let's yeah, so you can't go wrong with that. I will say, like my biggest vice is ice cream. Like it's a problem. It's a problem. Like if I go a
What's your
while without
favorite
ice cream,
brand then? What's your favorite? What's the
brand?
brand? What's the location at least? Do you
I
have a
mean, I
favorite?
mean, it's like, is it ice cream? Is it by definition ice cream? Are you gonna finish that? Can I have some? Um, I'd say a list topper is Jenny's One Eye. I think
Okay.
they're based out of Georgia. Um,
I think there's a
two
Jenny's
top
in
flavor.
Columbus. I think.
Is there?
Yeah.
Is there?
I think
Good to know. I'll be
there's
right
at
over.
least one. There's at least one called Jenny's. I don't know if it's the same. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, well, I'll have to find out, and if it is, then I know where we're going next. Two of my favorite flavors with Jenny's ice cream is they have something called a brambleberry crisp. Any ice cream that's like a southern cobbler situation, yes, sir. And then they have one that's like a sweet cream biscuits and peaches. It's like peaches and sweet cream biscuits. It's crazy good.
Ice cream is
Okay.
also my thing. Like if I go to, I don't buy ice cream often because if I get a bucket of ice cream, I'm finishing the bucket of ice cream when I'm sitting down watching TV. And it's dangerous. So
Yeah. Yeah, I've had to set a rule for myself where like if you're gonna pull a pint out of the freezer, you can't leave the kitchen. You have to like put it down and put it back before you, because if it leaves the kitchen, it's not coming back to the kitchen. Yeah.
So
I grew up putting about that much ice cream in a bowl. So it's a tough habit to break.
what's our opinion on sherbet? Is that ice cream or is that
Yeah, it's ice cream.
yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Is it cold and it's sweet? It's probably because I grew up in a hot state, but
For sure.
yeah.
I do have one last grouping of questions for you. And how did we get you into Harry Potter and the Cursed Child? And let's talk more about your theater stuff.
Great. Yeah, where do you want to begin?
What has been your favorite production so far, if you can choose one? What are your favorite memories from some? I know you're a big into that world, right? I think you are at least. And I'd love
Yeah,
to hear more about it.
I haven't touched theater in a while and I really miss it. I am starting to dip my toe back into that world though, and I'm really excited about it. Favorite productions from the past. I'm really proud of. I was in a production of Newsies, and I played Jack Kelly back in 2017, and um,
nice.
it broke records, and we won awards, and we became a family. We worked really hard on that show. I really believed in the message of the show too. Um, So that one will always be special in my heart. Um, I'm big into Shakespeare, and I really miss it. I haven't touched it in a long time. Um, I dabbled with Hamlet when I was like 19, and I would really love to open that back up now that I have more life experience and acting experience under my belt. Um, yeah, yeah, or anything I've ever done that involves multiple characters in one production. I have a lot of fun with that. Um, like I did one show that made a couple of friends for life. I was really proud of. It's a play called Hand to God. I played Jason Tyrone. Jason is like the son of a youth minister, and Tyrone is his hand puppet. And the question of the play is whether or not the puppet is possessed by something. Um, but there's also like narratives of like it's a dark comedy, but there's narratives of like grief and stuff in there. It's a really great play.
So,
Uh,
yes, sir. Go ahead, sorry.
there were like a lot of questions about theater. What can I give you next?
Oh no, I think you nailed most of it. It was more of just trying to get you in for Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. I know that's a bucket list item for you. It's like, what kind of sales pitch can we
I
do?
I can tell you that slowly but surely we are tapping on that door as we speak.
Oh,
Um,
good.
and I speak about that. I appreciate you. I appreciate you remembering that. Um, I am chasing after it like it's the last bus of the night and I'm throwing my shoe at it, but I also respect that the production needs to maintain its quality. And at the end of the day, if I end up not being the right person for that show, I respect that. Um, but I'm giving it my full shot. And if I get a chance to be a part of it, I'll be very honored, and I will take a full swing at it. I would love to just see how it functions, and I would love to go toe to toe with some of those actors involved with the productions. They're very talented, um, and the creative team as well. Um,
Awesome.
but yeah,
Not to,
casting is very kind and communicative and patient as well. So
I bet a lot of emails from yourself. Pretty dope.
So I gotta ask before you go: is there a way that I can watch your Newsies? Because Newsies is my favorite Disney movie.
there isn't, there
Oh,
isn't. There was, I
that
guess,
sucks.
rights to it. Yeah, I can't even watch it. Yeah. Um, I think there might be like promos still available, like old promos still available somewhere in the depths of online. But it doesn't really give you a grasp on how the production was. Um, but a lot of those people from that production have gone on to do amazing things. Our guy who played Pulitzer, Ralph Prentice Daniel, very talented individual. He's been on at least two or three national tours since, and sometimes you meet and work with people, and you're like, cool, can't wait to watch you just take off like a star. Um, I'm chasing right next to him, so.
Awesome.
Awesome,
Cool.
man. Where can everybody find you online?
My social media handles are Pyatt Forward. My last name is Pyatt, like the Hyatt Hotel, but with a P, and it's Pyatt Forward, like Pay It Forward. And oh yeah, don't believe everything IMDb tells you.
Yeah, your birthday is wrong on there. That's what
It
Destiny told us
sure
before
is.
the show.
Yeah, no, I'll tell this story on every platform that's given to me because they were so rude. Uh, where they are the leading source of quote unquote factual information for the film industry, and a lot of people do go to them for their source of information. But it's extremely difficult to control your own information, and somehow my name and birthday got hacked, but I can't change it unless I mail them my passport to Seattle. Um,
What?
and like, yeah, I emailed them. I was like, hey, this is incorrect. Can we fix this? And they were like, we believe it is correct. And if you want to prove us wrong, you have to send us a copy of your passport. I was like, okay, cool. I got verified by Google like yesterday. It took me an hour and like a selfie with my license, but sure, I'll mail you my passport. Um, it was one of those things where like I'm 31 now and they changed my age to 33, which in the grand scheme of life doesn't matter. I love being in my 30s. I can't wait to be 33. I love being 31. But a lot of kids and teens that are the demographic for enjoying Descendants, it's a newer concept to them than in Hollywood. Sometimes people in their 20s and 30s play teenagers and they were losing their minds. They were like, his forehead wrinkles when he smiles. He's old. I was like, yeah, what are you going to do?
Pearly cheek.
I just have Saved by the Bell play in the background. Be like, listen, y'all, let's remember where we came from.
It's fascinating to me. It's funny.
It reminds me, and this is a tangent. We were interviewing a lady that was on The Mandalorian, and I forget her name offhand. But like half her stuff we were interviewing her for wasn't right. It was just like, "Hey, were you in this?" She's like, "No." "Were you in this?" "No." I was like, well, I don't know how to get to know what you actually are in, then, man. Like, I don't know.
Let me choose my next words carefully.
Please.
The internet is a bit of a wild, wild west, no matter where, no matter what you believe or where you're at in the world. And it's incredibly difficult to have full control over all the information out there, especially anything about yourself. And so, it's not like, the Cinderella story people expect about, like, if you become famous, or it's like, and then you made a bunch of money and you moved away to the big city, and then you got online and filled out your profile of all of your exact information, and everybody always goes to that. It's like, I don't really know where half of the sources online got any information about me, once things started generating with Disney. But regardless of the topic of conversation, you just always want to cite your sources and probably double and triple check other sources. But yeah, my birthday is July 6th. I'm a Cancer, to anyone who I was born in 1993. I'm proudly a 90s baby. 93. Yeah. And I'm proud. I'm proud of it. Grew up watching stuff like Courage the Cowardly Dog,
Excellent TV show. I just watched a recap of Ed, and Eddie. Pretty dope.
Yes, Ed and Eddie was probably my number one.
Yeah. Always looking for those Jawbreakers. Always looking for the
Jawbreakers. Oh, that made their cheeks like this big. I'll be real with you. I actually bought this shirt today. I just stumbled upon the shirt. I was like, I love this shirt. And they did have an edit. They had an Ed and Eddie shirt that was really cool. But the color wasn't for me. But yeah, they're out there. If you love the show, rep it.
they're out there. That's awesome.
Nice. Well, thank you so much.
I'm like doing sales pitches for Hollister.
Everybody check Anthony out on social media. Go to 3geekspodcast.com. You can find everything for us there. And like, comment, subscribe. We'll talk to you soon.
See you.
Bye-bye.
Ever notice how ads always pop up at the worst moments? When the killer's identity is about to be revealed. During that perfect meditation flow. On Amazon Music, we believe in keeping you in the moment. That's why we've got millions of ad-free podcast episodes, so you can stay completely immersed in every story, every reveal, every breath. Download the Amazon Music app and start listening to your favorite podcasts ad-free, included with Prime.